Fusilli grind is doing a good job. That's good. I haven't watched any Fusilli videos still, but I'm glad that you're liking his videos.
It's Fusilli grind.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the show. It's wonderful to be back with you for our 50th episode. 50, that's right. Right off the top, need to thank all the supporters, all the Fusilionaires. You know who you are. Thanks for coming back time and again and supporting us. I'm back in the kitchen tonight. True to form, this takes me back to early days of Fusilli grind. It's nice to be in the kitchen. I get to look outside. I don't have to be in the dungeon. But the dungeon's good too. They both have their purposes. But true to form, we are back. I've got another slide deck for you, my shareholders, to present. And we're talking about SOTY again. I know. I can already hear the comments. I already made my call on SOTY in the last video. I said Jamie Foy was going to win. I still feel like he will probably win, with a couple caveats. We're going to get into that. But now, today, the year of our Lord, 2024, Monday, December 2nd, I feel like all the cards are finally out on the table for us to discuss in full. For those of you who are just joining us at this very late stage of the 2024 SOTY race, let me break it down for you real quick, real simple, real easy. Basically, at this stage, we have SOTYs coming out the MF woodwork. What I find very interesting about this year is that there's a lot of representation across archetypes of guys in this year's SOTY race. So let me give you the quick rundown. You've got your East Coast cool guy. You've got your West Coast cool guy. You've got the European cool guy. You've got your San Diego final boss. You've got your Venice Beach final boss. You've got the Colombian madman. You've got the Australian madman. You've got the Brazilian tech god. And you have Thrasher's darling. So what I thought we should do as a group, as a team building exercise, was to plot these guys on a matrix of sorts. I kind of had this idea about the matrix, and my PowerPoint template was looking a little bit like Matrix-y. And I just thought that this might be a good way to try and make sense of it all. I've got 9 guys, no female or non-binary representatives this year. Sorry, guys. I know I'm a big fan of Momiji. I thought she had a great part, but just not at the level of output that we need from somebody making a SOTY push. And I don't make the rules. Mike Burnett makes the rules, and all the good people at Thrasher. So all the good people at High Speed Productions. Anyway. Let's jump into it. So I've got the axes labeled here for you guys. Basically, the x-axis is your trick selection axis. So how it goes from traditional at this end to circus at this end. So kind of how creative are you being? What kind of things are you showing us? How are you expressing yourself purely on skateboarding? And then we've got the cornball axis. Basically goes from corny at this end to cool at that end. And that's basically the overarching perceived coolness of each skater. It's pretty easy to follow along, and I think it's a good way to visualize where these guys plot out. So, as I went at the beginning, let's start with our East Coast cool guy, Antonio Durao. So, Antonio put out a lot of really good footage this year, but Antonio gave us some really good footage. I think his footage was not handled as well as it could have been by his handlers. I think the way that it eventually shook out was that his most polished footage was kind of what we all saw first in the Nike video, and then we proceeded to kind of see the lesser cuts in the hard body video, and there was that other video, I can't remember the name. Everybody will remind me in the comments that he had stuff in, and maybe a couple other things here and there. But Antonio, really good push for this year. Great Thrasher cover, even though it was, I believe, a cover last year. I think it's maybe my all-time favorite Thrasher cover. It's a very cool trick. It's a very cool guy. I used to walk by that handrail every day in Houston, Texas when I lived there. So Super wonderful showing from Antonio this year, and I think there's a lot of us in the squad that would like to see him have a nod. He's definitely going to have a nod. I just don't think he's going to take it. He's just not quite commercialized enough, not quite palatable enough. And I put him in this quadrant because some of his tricks do veer into circus land, but I think his coolness levels that out and makes us all go ooh and ah when he does a switch backside flip 1 foot down a 6 stair. Antonio, we love you. I don't think you're the guy, but man, what a year, and can't wait to see more head high nose slide tricks in Air Force Ones. Okay. Emil. I've always been a good supporter of Emil. At first I thought he was European. He's unpolar. He's got kind of the French name going on. I didn't hear him say very much in the videos, but now I know that he's a true regular old Portland weirdo, which kind of makes it even better. I really loved Emil's footage in the polar video that just came out. I don't even know how to fucking airwalk, I believe is the title. I don't know about you guys, but it felt really good for me to see Emil kind of put on the pedestal, so to speak. They gave him kind of the last part. I mean, you know how Pontus likes to do. He likes to sprinkle the footage and have it be. He puts on his little Quentin Tarantino director hat and goes to town on these boys. But I mean, as near as makes no difference, Emil got last part in that video, and his footage was great. Best Emil footage to date, I think. I think the ASICS thing is a really good fit for him. Loving to see. I loved that Burnside montage at the end. He has a full part, and then he has almost another full mini part of Burnside footage at the end. Emil is a G, and I was really happy to see that. In a quieter year, in a yesteryear kind of year, I could see Emil really being a guy that might have gotten SOTY. So I put Emil right here, right by Antonio. I think they both occupy a similar space. They're kind of cryptid type guys, sort of local legend vibe type guys, if you know what I mean. These guys both really seem that they come from a real authentic street skateboarding background rather than, a test tube laboratory environment. So shout out Emil. Really loved that part. Deeds. Okay. I'm going to put my light on to talk about this. It's getting dark out there, guys. Deeds. Diedrich Galasso. I don't know about you. I don't love calling this guy Deeds, but that's effectively his name. As per American skateboard media, they can't handle stuff like Diedrich Galasso. Diedrich Galasso. I believe he's a Norwegian Brazilian. I'm pretty sure he is. All these, by the way, all 9 of these guys who are on the list tonight have had Thrasher interviews in the past year and a half. So I feel as though I have a bit of a sense of, what the vibe is with these guys. And if you've seen me talk about Deeds before, you know that in his Thrasher interview, he came off a little bit arrogant. Like he's a little bit of a hater, which is fine. I think it's good to have people that are a little bit arrogant, have people that are hating publicly in skateboarding. I think it's important. And certainly Deeds is not without his haters. I've always kind of liked his skating style. His fits are a bit conceptually adventurous, I'll say. Although I will say in the past year, he's kind of started to bring it back to basics a little bit, which is working for him. He was a surprise when he came and closed out the Nike video, and he has also had another video, a Pekka Lovas part, come out on Thrasher just within the past week, kind of a late November push, like, hey, check me out kind of thing. And Deeds has had a strong showing this year. The thing about Deeds is, as much as you talk shit on him for his swag choices, his trick selection is usually pretty solid. It does veer towards non-traditional, I'll say, the ride-on grinds and stuff. But he's still not afraid to do something really dangerous and death-defying. So it's kind of hard to really hate on him because he's actually really skilled. Yeah, Deeds. Solid year for Deeds. Is he in the contention? Really? No. Not palatable enough, but, the kids love him. He's on Rosvet now, which I think is a good fit. So, happy to see more of Deeds. He's got that Nike money flowing in, so not unhappy with Deeds' performance this year at all. Up next, we've got Braden Hoban, or Braden Hogan, as some say. Braden kind of splashed onto the scene, 2 years ago now, and was kind of just made man of San Diego. He was crushing it in the streets with Toy Machine, which is, a passable enough core brand, and then making money on the side with his monster patch that he would put onto his band tees. I believe he's got a Rockstar patch now that he puts onto the band tees, but, marketable street league killer, wolf in sheep's clothing, I would say, a little bit. Quite the traditional trick selection on this boy. He mixes it up a little bit, but I just gotta say, it's kind of boring, and I feel like born a little too late, maybe. Undeniably talented guy, crosslock king, 50-50 legend over here. But I watched his last part that they just put out last week. It was kind of a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought he had sort of made all the noise that he was going to make for this year, and then he hit us with an 11-minute part, and it was just boring to me. And I feel bad saying that because he's put a lot of effort into it. It's a lot of work, put in a lot of pain. But just in the context of this year, 2024, people really aren't fucking with that anymore. Am I right? People love it for sure. There's guys in Arizona and there's guys in Colorado who still buy Americas and think that it's sick to grind 20 stairs and to grind 100 stair handrails. He had a Thrasher interview or something where he was just talking about how sick Bob Dylan is, and it's just like, man, maybe 10, 15 years ago you would have had, everything in the world, but born a little too late. But I love you still anyway. Good job this year, Braden. Everybody say good job, Braden. Okay, I've been dreading this, talking about Elijah Burrell, because so much blood has already been shed over talking about this guy, whether or not he's actually cool, whether or not he's a total cornball, poser, pretender to the throne sort of guy. I don't know what to think of him. I don't know what to make of him other than it does appear like Thrasher's putting some juice, putting some sauce behind him. They've been beefing up the assets around Elijah. They've been doing out there's epic 50/50s. His Vans part came out this morning, and to be honest with you, I don't see. I'm not blown away by any of it. It's all sort of predictable. Each of his sort of big feature parts this year, I feel like have the same tricks in them, just done at different spots with varying degrees of success. And it doesn't really feel like, this Vans part is all that much better than his FA part. And it's the same thing of where I wish just choose one. Just pick one and have one part. Pretty much the only guy on this list who did that this year is Gabriel Summers, who I'll talk about in a bit, but and Emil, I guess. Emil also. But yeah, Burrell hit you with the twofer. He went sort of traditional with it, very traditional with his trick selection. There were a couple of oddball things, a couple of weird techie things that he did. He did that... what did he do? He did that tail slide to switchback tail a couple of times in both of his parts at two spots. I thought both were done well. But again, if you're going to do some creative stuff like that, don't do two and show us both. Show us the best one. And I think probably the one at Beneficial was the best, the one in LA. More iconic, at least. He also 180 switch crooked the whole Beneficial ledge. Has that been done? Did Scott Johnston do that? Maybe Fletch can jump in the comments and let me know. He'll know. Yo, what's up, you guys? I'm in the editing bay right now. It's still the kitchen, but I just had to stop the presses real quick to dwell on this a little bit. Steve did confirm that Scott Johnson did this trick. It's in Mike Carroll's Transworld modus operandi part, iconic part. I knew I had seen this shit before. I texted Steve. Steve confirmed. Thank you, Steve. We love you, Steve. Go watch Dead Air Radio coming soon, and go binge their podcasts. Anyway, but it's just kind of crazy to me. Steve raised a good point. Scott Johnson was on chocolate. How brazen is Elijah Burrell to go and do the trick? He did it. He did the whole ledge fine, but it doesn't make it any less of an ABD if you're doing the whole ledge on a trick that was already done, I don't know, 20 years ago. When did that shit come out? 25 years ago? Kind of disrespectful if you ask me. Anyway, back to the show. Burrell's really the only one of these guys that I think could potentially take it from the J-Man, from J Foy, Big Jamie. Up next, Janka. Vamos Janka. I've been getting some comments about Janka in the comments, which, Janka seems like a very YouTube commenter pick. I love YouTube. YouTube is a beautiful platform. It enables people all over the world to connect, and people all over the world love Giancarlos Gonzalez. So, Giancarlos has really good, compelling trick selection that I really liked. I put it towards circus, but only because it's a little bit more cerebral, the tricks that he does, and some of the stuff that he decides to hit us with. I just think he's a little bit of a rail-chomping Hesh Lord creature guy, which just isn't really in right now, although I do think it's kind of coming around. I think we're going to have a little bit more vampire-type guys in 2025, so watch out for Giancarlos. I did like some of his footage. I thought we were inundated with quite a lot of it. Again, a case where it could have been trimmed down, maybe even put one really crazy part out, and might have had a little bit more impact. Gabriel Summers. When I look at my list, I would say Summers right at the top. In my heart, this guy's the SOTY. And he's effortlessly cool. He's cool by virtue of not being cool at all. He rides for zero. And he has no business having as much swag as he does, but he does. And he had that great part a couple of years ago where he did that backtail, drop, backtail, drop, backtail. Like it was like a 5X drop, backtail. I'll put the clip in for show, But that was when he really started to pique my interest. And then he had the part this year with the Dido song. So gangster, like instant classic. So many memorable tricks. The heel flip crook after dropping the 10 stair. So memorable. Such a good piece of skate history there made by this sweet balding Australian man. So, SOTY in my heart, definitely Gabriel Summers. You can't say that about nearly any of the other parts that came out this year. Maybe Emil, maybe Antonio. But, so memorable and something that I'll go back and watch happily into the future. And it just can't be said for a lot of stuff that comes out these days. It's just doesn't hit the same way. So shout out to Gabriel Summers. Really loved your performance. Really loved your part. Would love to see you get it, even though you probably won't. But we love you still. Shout out. All right, you guys, we're almost there. I promise. Thanks for hanging in with me. Tiago Lemos. I wonder what his extra surname is. You know how Brazilian people they'll have like they'll have the mother's name. I don't know what the order is either, but they'll have the mother's surname and the father's surname, and you always say both. But they usually chop one when they come to the U.S. because it confuses the gringos. But I wonder what his Soares. It's Soares, yeah. Tiago Lemos Soares. Tiago Lema Suarez. Big fan of Tiago. He did some monumental tricks this year, holding it down for the Ledge Lords, for the big pop heaven motherfuckers. I really liked the Pekka part that he put out. Shout out Pekka, Per Christian Lovas from Norway, Oslo, I believe. That guy is like the G of this year. He's filmed more skating. He's lived more life through the viewfinder than he has through his own eyes this year. The amount of stuff that he's filmed. So shout out Pekka. I think it showed Tiago in a really nice light. I like it when people skate within 15, 20 minutes of the crib. I think there's something very authentic about that if you want to be a street skater. And then, of course, he had his big budget New Balance part, which I thought was good. Again, monumental tricks, iconic California spots, San Francisco spots especially. If the only thing that they decided SOTY on was how many SF spots you decimated, definitely Tiago would be at the top. And that's kind of how they picked Miles Silvas last go around. I feel like he just inundated them with San Francisco bangers. But Tiago didn't quite inundate, but that switchback nose blunt on Bay Blocks is insanely iconic, and legendary and cool. So of course Tiago hits, sort of the far upper left corner of the matrix here. He's cool as hell. His trick selection is very traditional. And there's nothing wrong with that. Tiago's whole thing is, respect for the 90s and, the originators, the innovators. And he's kind of become the ultimate final form of tech skateboarding and has contributed a lot to it. So Tiago would have been a great SOTY. I would have loved to see him get it this year, but I just don't think he's going to get it. New Balance obviously wanted to put Jamie Foy up at the top of everybody's minds with the way they edited their video, which, by the way, go watch if you haven't already seen Gifted Haters' review of that video. I think he got it really right on, the way that video was produced and kind of just how much of a waste of amazing skateboarding footage and amazing skateboarding moments went down when they released that thing. I won't go back and watch that. I don't even really remember that many of the tricks that were done. The one that comes out to mind for Jamie's part was the heel flip back tail. Of course, Brandon Westgate's ollie. But we're not going to go back and watch that. It was an arduous watch. Some really botched filming. And it's just a shame because a lot of those tricks could have been shown in better light and be put towards something that we would go back and cherish. Something that would last, something that would have some legacy and have some cachet, 15, 20 years down the road. So, damn shame. But, Jamie Foy, he's kind of like, I put him right there on the cross like he's the Messiah. He's, like I said at the top, he's Thrasher's darling. He's already been SOTY once, tons of coverage. Nobody will shut up about him. It's kind of a bummer that there's all these other interesting guys to pick from, and Jamie Foy's kind of the most palatable, most kind of Captain America guy. He's still technically core, but he's got the Red Bull hat on. It's almost an enigma how normal and kind of right across home plate Jamie Foy is. I still think Foy's gonna get it. With the exception of a possibility of a Burl sneak attack. I think Thrasher is trying to make us believe, the Burl story right now pretty heavy, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went for him in the end. But, I don't know. I think Foy's got it in the bag. Just like I said in the last video, his tricks were undeniable. And though I'll never go back and watch them again, it's actually funny. He put out some iPhone angles of his tricks. Everybody in the comments is just fleecing the guys that made the NB video and just like, oh, these iPhone angles are better than the real clips. So, can't say they don't deserve it. Damn shame. Like I said, damn shame. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it. That's it. That's the Matrix. Welcome back. You can unplug your headsets. We're out of the Matrix now. We've talked about it, and hopefully we can just be done with it. I'm like I said, I'm kind of sick of talking about this. But it does get those sweet, sweet clicks. So keep clicking away, Fusillionaires. I love you all, and let's smack a little Geoguessr. All right, cold turkey. We're going straight in. Like I said, what is this new campaign? They keep changing. I play this so infrequently that they keep changing it when I'm not around. All right, here we go. Start week. Silver moving. Let me know in the comments. Should I do some no moving games? I think my NM gameplay. I mean, it's rusty, but I could get back into it. All right, we've got an opponent. Funny name. Okay. Let's see. All right, straight away, I'm feeling Ireland because we've got the yellow outsides. So I'm going to send instant outside Dublin because this is world map. Yeah, this is very Irish. I don't know about these bollards, but the yellow outside dashed line is Ireland all day. Oh my god. It was New Zealand. Fuck me. Alright. Well, we're both bad, so. Di Roma. Alright. I'm gonna say we're somewhere in Italy, obviously. Are we in Roma? Why not? Instant send, Rome. Okay, that's gonna be peanuts for him. Yeah. Downtown Rome. This is a boring game already. We're not using this game for the edit. Lady Godiva pub. Come get a pint of Guinness at the Lady Godiva pub. Alright. Is this Ireland? Jesus fucking Christ. Or is this UK? It is Ireland. Oh, wait, what? No. This is Switzerland. Where are we in Switzerland, mate? Quartz optician. Alright, I'm just gonna go somewhere vaguely Swiss, maybe up north because there's some German. You tried to get me with that Lady Godiva pub, didn't you? Okay, it was Genève. God damn it. I've been there. Oh, I've been right there. Plein Palais. Geneva's cool. Good spots. Not as good as Vienna. This is giving me Finnish. Yeah, definitely Finnish. Finland. So we go somewhere in the south because that's where all the people live in Finland. This looks like a slightly populated area. This is also Finnish. Guys, sorry, I'm not signposting as much for you guys, but this is a specifically Finnish crosswalk sign. This guy. That's Finland, yeah. Oh, it's way north. Rovaniemi. Max North. That's a very far northern city. Interesting. Alright, yeah, Taiwan. No. Hong Kong? Is that a Hong Kong? Or Taiwan? Don't Taiwan poles go all the way to the bottom? But that does look like a Taiwan pole. It's gotta be Taiwan. Guys, I'm so rusty, I don't know. I think this is Taiwan, though. Taiwan. Gotta be, right? or is it, yeah, it was max south. Alright, I'm chipping away at this guy. He's not very good. But neither am I. I'm not, you guys know I'm not really that good at this. But I know some shit. Alright, we're in Greece, or somewhere with Cyrillic. Maybe we're in Macedonia. Was that Greek, or was that... This is looking quite Greek. But is it Macedonia? I think it might be I think this might be somewhere Skopje. No, but it looks coastal. Let's go Greece. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we both kind of found that. Glad I didn't go North Mass. That would have been devastating. Alright, yellow plate on the bus. Looking quite Japanese. I don't know how to region guess Japan. I'm going to assume that this is somewhere... It could be northern. I'm going to go sort of halfway between Tokyo and Osaka hedge. Doesn't look like Tokyo necessarily, but it probably is, being that this is the world map. Polestar Mansion Gallery. Yeah, okay, it was Okayama. He must have went and found a bus or something. Ain't no way he knew that. He must have found something. He must have read something. Like Rainbolt said, reading is cheating. Let's say Burger Deek. What is this? Yeah, there's a yellow plate. Alright, so there's a bike lane. Obviously, this is the Netherlands. So let's just instant send Amsterdam. Actually, we'll do halfway Amsterdam, Rotterdam. Just to be cool. And he's going to take 12 seconds and try and figure it out. If he doesn't know that this is Netherlands, then he doesn't deserve to find out. You got to know that this is the most Dutch-looking place. Oh, dude, Turkey? Oh, come on. All right, GG's. Guys. How did I go Ireland? He went, what, Canada? Toronto? I went Ireland. Guys, I was so sure. I was so sure of myself. I was like, oh, look, it's Ireland. Like, this is Ireland all day. I didn't for a second look at the foliage. I didn't look at this tree. I barely looked at this tree. I was so sure because we had yellow dashed outers. I was so sure. Oh, what an idiot I was. Not really any poles nearby. Oh, if I had looked at these poles, I mean, these are New Zealand poles all day. I mean, just the landscape, the flora, the fauna. This gray sky confused me, but this is like almost like a, an island, like a Hawaii gray sky. This is not an Ireland gray sky, I don't know, almost tropical, even though, is New Zealand tropical? Like, is New Zealand, I would say it's probably subtropical. Oh my goodness, right? It's way down there. They got like snow and shit. New Zealand is not tropical. Not even fucking close. Sorry about that, you guys. We still pulled it out. But it just didn't feel right, being that wrong about this first round. So, maybe I'll play a little bit more. Maybe I'll try and get a little bit better. Try and improve my game a little bit, brush up on my metas and shit. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you're still around, if you watch the Geoguessrs, shout out to you, real one. We love you. All right, bye, guys.